Well, as Americans gear up to celebrate Independence Day, of course, with fireworks, pet owners are urged to prepare for a less festive part of the holiday. We're talking about fireworks. Well, who best to talk about this? We have Michael here with Final Victory Animal Rescue to be helping us out with all of some safety tips as far as pets when it comes to this holiday. And Michael, thank you so much for letting us stop by.
Yeah.
And you have to introduce us to Billy.
Yes, Billy is one of our longer residents. She's been just phenomenal. We don't know why she's been here so long. She came out of Fairfield County. She was a stray, but she is really one of our best dogs here.
Guys, obsessed with belly rubs. Billy loves belly rubs, and she is so sweet. But her, like so many dogs, of course, when it comes to loud noises and fireworks, it can be kind of skittish.
Yeah, so fireworks are kind of one of those times of year where you see a lot of the dogs get lost. You see a lot of them missing pet fosters or pet flyers after July 4th, unfortunately, and it's just one of those times that you really have to practice safety, and you got to think ahead. You know, that's the biggest thing, is thinking ahead, preparing ahead. So having a safe spot for your dog, making sure that they have their identification on, making sure that they are properly housed, and honestly, if your dog needs it, talk to your vet about medications. You know, they have calming treats, they have trazodone, they have anti-anxiety medications that can help your dog.
Let's talk about some of the safety precautions that families should be doing now before those celebrations begin.
Yeah, so being prepared ahead of time is always the most important thing. So I recommend talking to your vet. If you know that your dog's gonna be anxious, if your dog's gonna have anxiety, if it's gonna freak them out, talk about using trazodone or something that you can use to help limit their anxiety. We always recommend setting up a safe spot, so making sure that your dog has its comfortable spot, whether that's a bathroom, whether that is their crate, their dog bed, so making sure that they are comfortable and safe. I mean, I've seen people even get earmuffs for their dogs. You know, you can get little noise-canceling earmuffs, but just be prepared for that. Identification, I mean, that's your biggest thing there, making sure that your dog has its ID tag on, making sure that your dog is microchipped. I honestly recommend writing your phone number on your dog's collar, because your ID tag is just held on by a little piece of metal, that can come off super easily. So making sure that they are identifiable, making sure that if they are to get out, you have a recent picture of them so you can make a flyer. Make sure that your fence gates are closed, make sure that your doors are closed. But honestly, it's just being prepared, knowing how your dog reacts. If this is the first time with this dog, maybe being a little bit over-prepared versus under-prepared. But it's all just about being prepared, making sure that you are setting your dog up for success, making sure that you have all the necessary precautions in place, and as I said, making sure that your dog is identifiable, because that is the hardest part. We get so many stray dogs in, and they don't have collars on, or they have collars but they don't have tags on, and they're not microchipped. That's the biggest thing. Make sure that your animals are microchipped.
Now, what about here in South Carolina? Do we normally see an uptick during like the 4th of July and these holidays because so many people are out and about in the summertime?
It's yes and no. South Carolina, we get strays in all the time, unfortunately, so it's a little bit hard to distinguish if it's a 4th of July missing dog or if it's a regular missing dog or a regular stray. I think the easiest way to kind of tell that apart is how the dogs come in. A lot of times we get strays that are not in that good a condition, but if we get a dog in really good condition, you can kind of expect that they might be a little bit more of that 4th of July style stray versus a normal stray or lost dog. But also there's a lot of Facebook posts. So there's Columbia Lost and Found Dogs, there's Lexington Lost and Found. Like, there's so many different Facebook posts for missing and lost dogs. So if your dog gets out, first thing you want to do is post in that group, let everybody know. Start calling all the animal shelters, sending them a flyer so that they know what to look out for. If your dog is microchipped, call your microchip company. Make sure that they know that your dog is missing. Make sure that your information is correct with that microchip so that we can get your dog back home. But basically, you want to be as proactive as possible. If your dog does get out as well, set out its bed, set out a little bit of food so that that dog can hopefully find its way back home. You want to take all the possible steps to mitigate your dog getting out, but if your dog does get out, you need to be as proactive as possible. You need to be out there looking right away. You need to make sure that your dog is plastered everywhere so that people see that face, they know to call you. So you need to have the preparedness to make sure that you are set, that your dog doesn't get out, but you also need to know how to react if your dog does get out.
And I mean, it's important too, those are your babies.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it is every single one of these dogs I view as my own dog. You need to prepare these dogs for everything. And I mean, if your child gets out, you're gonna be searching in a panic. If your dog gets out, you need to be prepared the same way. But honestly, the biggest thing is make sure that your dogs are nice and secure. Crates are fantastic. Crate your dog. I mean, it's one night, even if you don't crate your dog, one night is better than your dog being lost. Make sure that your dogs have their identification on, make sure that they have a collar, make sure they have a tag, and make sure that they're microchipped. Microchipping is super easy. It is super cheap. Like, I don't know why every dog isn't microchipped. It's the easiest way to get it back to you. So make sure your dog's microchipped. If your dog is an outside dog, maybe bring them inside for the night, or make sure that their kennel, if they're outside, is really secure. Make sure that it's got a roof on it. Make sure that, as I said, your back gate fences, make sure that they're closed. Make sure that there's no weak spots. Make sure that your dog is just as confined as possible.
Now I have to ask you a fun question, because a bunch of people are going to be out in the cookout enjoying. Can they eat any of our food? Is there anything that they could have, or are you saying?
So you really don't want to feed your dog human food. Giving them a little nibble of a burger or a hot dog, that's okay, but you don't want to give them a lot of it. That's also going to upset their stomach a little bit. You don't want to have a dog having diarrhea or vomiting in your crate. It's gross to clean up. So we recommend, honestly, staying away from human food with your dog. And honestly, that brings up a good topic. I recommend not bringing your dog to the cookout. Don't bring your dog to the party, because if they're in an unfamiliar environment, fireworks go off, they get scared, they're going to get lost. It's going to be way harder. Also, you see dog bites happen a lot more during holidays because dogs are around unfamiliar people, unfamiliar places. So the best thing to do during the 4th of July is keep your dog at home, nice and confined, wearing their collar, making sure that they're microchipped, nice and safe.
Yeah, definitely some good advice there, because they don't want to be confused, especially if something does happen and they go out missing, they know exactly where to come home.
Exactly.
All right, well, Mikey, thank you so much. Billy was fantastic during this whole interview.
She is just a fabulous dog. I mean, she really is a sweetheart. She loves everybody. She is a great dog.
Yeah, she is definitely ready for some belly rubs and a forever home. Of course, we're going to be putting all of this information and more information about Billy on our website, WLTX.com. But what a great opportunity to go and enjoy the 4th of July holiday and keep those furry friends safe. Michael, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you guys.